Imagine being so good at your sport that you win 4 world championships but still feel overshadowed by your greatest rival. That's how Alain Prost felt about Ayrton Senna, the man who pushed him to the limit and beyond in F1. In this video, we'll reveal how their feud started, escalated, and ended. But before we dive into their rivalry, let's get to know the two drivers who made F1 so epic. Born in France in 1955, Alain Prost was a force to be reckoned with in the thrilling world of Formula One. Known affectionately as the Professor, Prost kicked off his racing adventure back in 1980. He burned rubber for top-notch teams like Renault, McLaren, Ferrari, and Williams. And did he make the mark? Yes! He got 4 world championships to his name, secured in 85, 86, 89, and 93. Growing up near the vibrant cities of Lyon and Saint-Étienne, in a place called Saint-Chamond, Prost was 5 years senior to Senna. He was so devoted to racing that he even left school in 1974 to pursue his dream of becoming a pro driver. Soon enough, the McLaren team saw his potential and gave him a shot at Formula One. This made Prost's career take off like a rocket, leaving a lasting legacy in motorsport's history books. Meanwhile, Ayrton Senna, a Brazilian racing sensation born in 1960, was like a thunderbolt on the Formula One scene. Starting his fast-paced adventure back in 1984, he hopped on the racing carousel with teams like Toleman, Lotus, McLaren, and Williams. Senna racked up 3 world championships in 88, 90, and 91, cementing his status as a true legend in the world of motorsport. But his journey didn't start there. Even before his Formula One stardom, Senna was a karting champion. He won the South American Kart Championship in '77 and came oh so close to grabbing the Karting World Championship crown in '79 and '80. Senna was not just any ordinary racing legend. He was a bona fide superhero in Brazil. With his flashy yellow crash helmet, Senna was like a shining beacon of hope for everyday Brazilians facing life's ups and downs. His homeland still confesses it hasn't seen another Brazilian F1 world champion since Senna's last title in 1991. When he plunged into F1, Senna's talent burst forth like fireworks. He left his mark in the British Formula 3 Championship in 1983, catching the eye of big shots like Williams, McLaren, and Brabham. But you know what? He ended up joining Toleman, a team hungry for success. While Alain Prost was all about strategy, Senna brought a whole new level of excitement with his aggressive and relentless driving style. It was like he had lightning in his blood, electrifying fans all over the world. We couldn't take our eyes off him. Now, they say opposites attract, but not in this case. Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna were polar opposites in every way, in their driving style, their mentality, their nationality, their politics, and their ethics. They were both brilliant drivers, but they could not coexist peacefully. Their rivalry was fierce, bitter, and personal, changing F1 forever. And you know where it started? Let's go back to 1984 when Ayrton Senna burst onto the Formula One scene. Guess who was already making waves? The one and only Alain Prost, zooming around for McLaren alongside legendary Niki Lauda. Prost, known for being lightning fast, came this close to snagging the '84 championship, missing out by half a point. That caught Senna's attention, sparking a fiery desire to take him down. Senna, with his unwavering determination, kept a close eye on Prost. It was like an obsession that fueled their epic battles, and F1 fans couldn't get enough of Senna's exceptional skills and never-give-up attitude. Some even started feeling a bit of disdain for Prost, especially when it seemed like the influential Fiat boss had a soft spot for him. Prost's journey with McLaren began in '84, and he won his first championship in '85, followed by another in '86. Funny enough, it was Prost himself who suggested that McLaren sign Senna from Team Lotus in '88. That decision proved to be a game-changer, intensifying their rivalry to a whole new level. Senna snatched the '88 championship from Prost by a hair, kicking the competition into high gear. How it peaked! This epic showdown reached its climax during their stint as teammates at McLaren Honda in '88 and '89. Prost then made a bold move and jumped ship to Ferrari in '90, keeping the fire alive. Commentators didn't hold back when describing their relationship. They called it polarizing and fierce, and well, these two were actually like a powder keg, ready to explode both on and off the track. So what happened later? In 1988, at the French Grand Prix, Prost decided to play mind games with Senna, dealing a major psychological blow during qualifying. He smoked Senna, denying him pole position for the first time that year by a hair-raising half a second. As Senna took the lead after some pit stops, they found themselves face to face with a group of slower back markers. First up was Nelson Piquet's Lotus. Now, Senna thought he had a genius plan up his sleeve. He slipped past Piquet on the Mistral straight, hoping to catch a slipstream and leave Prost in the dust. Smart move, right? Well, not so fast. That move actually cost Senna some valuable momentum. Senna kept his gaze locked on the rear wing of Pierluigi Martinez Minardi as if it held secrets to championship glory. Little did he know, Prost was lurking in the shadows waiting for his chance. And guess what? Prost pounced on the opportunity like a panther, swiftly reclaiming the lead and securing a victory he wouldn't let go of. Looking back, that spine-tingling exchange between Senna and Prost perfectly captured the strained atmosphere that eventually soured their dynamic. Things got seriously uncomfortable during a joint interview after the '88 German Grand Prix. Prost, looking a bit on edge and slightly turning away from his teammate, cautiously asked a question that hung heavy in the air. Is it possible to be equal? Ever the dominant force, Senna delivered a pointed response. No, there can only be one winner. Awkward laughter followed, shining a bright spotlight on the underlying tension in their fierce rivalry. Now, back to the topic. Later on in the Japanese Grand Prix in 1989, the final lap was underway and Senna, after a remarkable comeback from a nose-wing replacement, was fighting tooth and nail for victory. But the FIA boss at the time, Jean-Marie Balestre, made a ruling that Senna's track cutting during the race was against the rules, which led to his disqualification. This decision caused an uproar among fans and raised eyebrows worldwide. Many felt that Balestre was favoring our cheeky Frenchman Prost, and it was the first time people really showed their support and empathy for Senna while expressing some disdain for Prost. Which, by the way, fast forward a few years later, Jean-Marie admitted to favoring Prost. Well, it's all water under the bridge now. Why it peaked? Now, we must admit, both Senna and Prost were not behaving like the best of buddies. But here's the thing, to truly understand this hot mess, we have to take a look at the favoritism lurking within their respective teams. Let's start with Senna's side of the story. He had this special bond with Honda, and it all began when he was driving for Lotus in 1987. Honda was the engine provider, and that's when the love affair started. When Senna moved to McLaren in 1988, guess who became their engine provider? Yup, you guessed it, Honda. This close relationship with the Japanese engineers made Senna feel like a part of their family. He even had a team of 20 engineers working with him. And then we have poor old Prost, who was also racing for McLaren, but favoritism was nowhere to be found on his side. Prost probably felt like the neglected stepchild. While Senna had a whole army of engineers, Prost had just 4. The Japanese engineers even saw Senna as this fierce samurai, while poor Prost was labeled a mere computer. We bet that didn't do wonders for his self-esteem. To make matters worse, Prost had to witness significant performance gaps between himself and Senna. Prost started questioning whether Senna's pace was genuine or if those sneaky Honda engineers secretly configured his car to give him an unfair advantage. So, all these factors combined ultimately drove Prost to call it quits with McLaren after the 1989 season. But can you blame the guy? Well, there's an end to everything, even to this greatest rivalry of the century. How it ended? After years of fiery competition, the Prost-Senna saga took an unexpected turn when Prost retired from racing in '93. Peace finally descended upon their rivalry and Senna's perspective shifted. Suddenly, he no longer saw Prost as a rival but as a friend. In a jaw-dropping interview, Prost spilled the beans, revealing that Senna had actually confessed to a pal that he missed having Prost as a competitor on the track. Senna realized that Prost's presence fueled his fire, motivating him to push the limits and give it his all in every single race. As the '94 Formula One season rolled around, you could feel the shift in the air. Senna and Prost's relationship transformed into a friendship. Prost had taken on a new role as an anchor for a French channel while Senna continued to tear up the track. Prost also spilled the tea that during this time, Senna engaged in frequent conversations with him. They chatted about all sorts of things, from concerns about driver safety to Senna's heartfelt pleas for Prost to join the Grand Prix Drivers Association, or GPDA. But tragically, these interactions turned into their final exchanges. It was a dark day at Imola in '94 when Senna met with a catastrophic crash, leaving Formula One fans shattered and the world mourning the loss of such an incredible talent. And when he met with a terrible accident that shook the world, Brazil felt it in their bones. The people of Brazil mourned like they'd lost a national hero. Even now, they pay tribute to his legend on his death anniversary, officially known as Senna Day in Brazil. And that concludes our journey through the intriguing rivalry of Senna and Prost. If you found this discussion fascinating, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay tuned for more captivating stories in the world of Formula One.